2019 paper 1, question 1. So here we have an algebra question where we're given an expansion and we're told that p is an element of the natural numbers and the coefficient of x is twice the coefficient of x squared, and it wants us to find the value of p. So what we want to do first of all is take the expansion 2x plus 1 and we're going to multiply out our brackets so that we can then use the relationship that we've underlined here. So if we multiply out our brackets, we have 2x by x squared is 2x cubed, 2x by px is 2px squared, 2x by 4 is 8x, and then we have 1 times everything else, so that's x squared plus px plus 4. So if we group all our like terms, we have 2x cubed, and then we have plus 2p plus 1 times x squared, and then we have plus 8 plus p times x, and then we have plus 4. So what we can see here then is the coefficient of x and then the coefficient of x squared. So we have the coefficient of x is 8 plus p, and the coefficient of x squared is 2p plus 1. So we're told the coefficient of x is twice the coefficient of x squared. So that means then what we have is 8 plus p is equal to twice the coefficient of x squared, which is 2p plus 1. And that gives us 8 plus p is equal to 4p plus 2. And therefore we have 3p equals 6, and therefore p equals 2. And of course if we go back and double check, we can see that 2 is an element of the natural numbers, which is what we were told. So if we had two values, for instance, and one was a rational number or an integer or anything else, then a natural number, we would have to discard it. So in terms of marks for this question, it was a 10D question. So the marks were broken down into 0, 4, 5, 8 and 10. Okay, so B. So in B here we have algebraic fraction equation, and we're told x cannot equal minus a half or a third. And the reason we're told that is obviously if we were to sub in minus a half into the first fraction, we'd get 0 as the denominator. And if we were to sub in a third in the fraction on the right hand side, we'd also get 0 as denominator. And that would mean that it would be undefined at these values. So undefined when x is minus a half or a third. Okay, so to solve this equation, what we're going to need to start by doing is getting rid of our fractions. And to get rid of our fractions, we need to look at what is the lowest common denominator. And then we can multiply across by this lowest common denominator to eliminate our fractions. So our lowest common denominator is 5 times 2x plus 1 times 3x minus 1. Okay, so if we multiply the left-hand side across by the lowest common denominator, 2x plus 1 will go into the lowest common denominator, which means then that will be leaving us with 3 times 5 times 3x minus 1. If I multiply the lowest common denominator by 2 over 5, then I'll have 2 times 2x plus 1 times 3x minus 1. And if I multiply the right-hand side by the lowest common denominator, 3x minus 1 will divide into the lowest common denominator, leaving me with 2 times 5 times 2x plus 1. Okay, so if we multiply out our brackets, we have 3 times 5 times 3x, and that gives me 45x. And then we have 3 times 5 times minus 1, which is minus 15. If we have 2 times 2x plus 1, that's 4x plus 2. And 2 times 5 is 10, and 10 times 2x is 20x plus 10. So we just need to multiply out the second brackets here. So we 4x by 3x is 12x squared. 4x by minus 1 is minus 4x. 2 by 3x is 6x. And 2 by minus 1 is minus 2. And now if I bring everything to one side and simplify and tidy up, well then that's going to give me 12x squared. And then we have 45x minus 4x plus 6x. And bringing over the minus 20x gives us 27x. And then we have minus 15 minus 2. And if I bring over the 10, it's minus 10. And therefore that's minus 27 equals 0. I can divide across there by 3, which gives me 4x squared plus 9x minus 9 equals 0. So if I look, I need to solve this quadratic. So we have the coefficient of x squared, which is 4 times minus 9 equals minus 36. So what multiplies to give us minus 36 and adds to give us 9? Well, it's 12 and minus 3. So if I replace the 9x with my two factors there, 12 and minus 3x, then we have 4x squared plus 12x minus 3x minus 9 equals 0. Group the first two, highest common factor. We have 4x being common, leaving us with x plus 3. To get minus 3 is being common, and we have x plus 3. And then to get x plus 3 is being common, and that leaves us with 4x minus 3 equals 0. So now all I have to do is get x on its own there. So we have to let both factors equal 0, because their product is 0. So that means that one of the factors is 0 or both are 0. So that leaves me with x equals minus 3 or x equals 3 over 4. And there was 15 marks going for this question. So it was a 15D. So the marks were broken down into 0, 4, 7, 11 and 15 marks. So 25 marks in total for each question in section A.